Today we're diving deep into where Nvidia could be by 2025, 2026 and 2030 because if you think you know it now, wait until you see what may come next. Picture this. It's December 2030 and a single company's technology is humming inside every major cloud, every AI assistant, and every self-driving system on Earth, serving as the quiet engine powering the future of intelligence. Because what you're about to hear could reshape how you think about investing and about the future of computing. I'll break this down into 6 easy-to-follow sections, so watch all the way to the end to get the full insight. Section 1. Quick snapshot, Nvidia. Today, as of late 2025, Nvidia is trading above $180 for context, and its market cap is around over $4 trillion. Its gross margins are near 70%, trailing PE around 51x. Why does this matter? Because Nvidia began as a graphics chip maker, but now its GPUs, data center chips, and AI accelerators are the infrastructure powering generative AI cloud autonomous systems. And recent news, Nvidia crushed earnings forecasts, beating revenue expectations, and forecasting even stronger results, reinforcing that the AI boom isn't just hype. For example, they forecast $65 billion in revenue for Q4, beating Wall Street. So bottom line, Nvidia's in a dominant position, but that dominance comes with expectations. Big ones. Section 2, the forecast for 2025-2026. Let's talk short term. Where could Nvidia be by 2025? Analysts project a bullish target of about $183 and an average target of $178. The bearish case, around 173s. What about 2026? More variance. Bullish scenario, 308. Average 207, bearish 170. Why such a spread? Because much depends on execution, demand for AI chips, competition, AMD, Intel, valuation risks, margin pressure. Key drivers for upside, continued explosion in AI spending, data center demand, Nvidia staying at the core of that infrastructure. Key risks, a slowdown in AI growth, regulatory or export controls, chip supply chain constraints. Recent support for the upside. Nvidia's Q3 results showed strong growth in its data center segment, calming fears of an AI bubble. So the takeaway, for 2025 to 2026, Nvidia's base case is moderate upside, perhaps low hundreds per share, but upside is much higher if the execution is stellar. Section 3, the big picture, 2030 and beyond. Now, let's leap to 2030. The bullish projection is about $863, average $799. Even the bearish scenario, $774. That suggests a multifold increase from today. If the long-term AI growth story holds, why could this happen? Because Nvidia is positioned at the heart of megatrends. Generative AI, data centers, autonomous vehicles, smart infrastructure. For example, at the SC 2025 conference, ARM announced it joined Nvidia's NVLink Fusion ecosystem, expanding how Nvidia's GPUs integrate with major CPU platforms. Another example, major contract where Microsoft signed a $9.7 billion deal for Nvidia's AI chips. These partnerships show Nvidia is more than a GPU maker. It's an infrastructure anchor. But long-term also means long risk. By 2030, the competitive landscape could shift. Regulatory regime risk, especially export restrictions, could bite, and valuations run ahead of fundamentals. The article calls out these risks. So if you believe the AI revolution will continue for decades and Nvidia stays the engine, 2030 could see huge gains. If not, then the average or even the bear case still implies meaningful growth, just not meteoric. Section 4. Strategic drivers and catalysts. Let's zoom in on the drivers that could push Nvidia upward. 1. AI infrastructure demand, data centers, generative models, cloud growth. Nvidia's data center segment is already huge. 2. Architecture dominance. Nvidia's upcoming architectures like Rubin and Feynman suggest the company is planning ahead, e.g. Rubin microarchitecture launching 2026. 3. Ecosystem partnerships like ARM joining NVLink Fusion or the Microsoft Nvidia deal. These make Nvidia harder to dislodge. 4. Global expansion, though there are headwinds, export controls with China, etc. And the catalyst to watch for, a big new architecture launch, e.g. Rubin, that again increases performance leaps. A major cloud data center partner deal, margins holding or improving despite increasing competition. Momentum in AI everywhere, healthcare, automotive, industrial IoT, etc. Conversely, the risk to monitor, slowing demand for GPUs or AI infrastructure. Margins compressing due to competition or supply constraints, geopolitical export restrictions. For example, China's push to localize semiconductors. Valuation froth. If the market expects perfection and anything less triggers a sell-off. Section 5. What could this mean for investors and markets? If Nvidia hits the bullish 2030 scenario, 860 plus, that's a huge return over 5 years, 2025, 2030. Great if you're in early and hold long, but remember, high growth stocks carry high risk. If Nvidia stumbles, the downside still exists. The article suggests the bear 2030 case still implies 775s or so, which is still above current levels, assuming 180, 200 today. For investors, this means Nvidia could be a core growth play for AI infrastructure, but you must be comfortable with volatility and elevated valuation. For the broader market, Nvidia is also a bellwether for AI infrastructure. If Nvidia falters, it could ripple across tech. If Nvidia succeeds, it likely signals strong AI spending ahead. So, the advice, keep an eye on the drivers and catalysts we listed. Use the 2025 and 2026 numbers as short-term checks, but think long-term if you believe in the AI paradigm. Section 6, Timeline Recap and Key Takeaways. 2025 modest upside scenario, approximately $175 to $185 per share in the projection. Execution matters, 2026 potential inflection point. If everything comes together, maybe approximately $300 plus per share. If not, maybe approximately $170 to $200. 2030, long-term big payoff scenario of approximately $800 to $900 plus per share in bullish case, average approximately $799, bear approximately $775. Key takeaway, Nvidia is not just a chip maker but an infrastructure platform for AI. Recent news supports demand, strong earnings, big deals, ecosystem partnerships, but high expectations mean little margin for error. If you believe AI growth continues and Nvidia remains the leader, 2030 could be enormous. If you don't, more modest gains. This gives you a roadmap. Watch for short-term 2025/26 milestones as proof of the long-term thesis. If they fail, adjust accordingly. All right, that wraps our deep dive into where Nvidia could be by 2025, 2026, and 2030. Disclaimer. This is not financial advice you need to do your own research to confirm. If you found this helpful, hit that like button, subscribe for more tech and investing deep dives, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next breakdown. Let me know in the comments, do you believe Nvidia will hit the high end of that 2030 scenario, or is the middle average more realistic? I'll be reading your thoughts. You can watch the next video coming on the screen now.